Hello and welcome to the Extreme Hardware Podcast, episode number 8, the 9th installment. Thank you, Chris.
Sorry, it's not my fault.
It is your fault. Anyway, I'm your host, Alex, and we have a rather jubileous Chris here with us today.
Yeah, that's me.
It really is.
It sure is, buddy.
We have Simmons, who is the absolute king of all things vape.
Oh, I can't stand you.
I know. Thank you. And we have our delectable Frick Frock version 4.0.
Oh, delectable you.
You're going to run out of adjectives that start with D, Alex. And what are you going to do then?
Don't worry, we're not going to run out of the D. Oh, yes, and we also have Andrew joining us. Anyway, so on to our first topic.
Yes, first topic is Simmons changed his screen name in this server to paid for Regigigas and Pokemon Go.
Okay, first of all, you're just going to drag me like this?
Yes.
Just out of the blue. Okay.
I just want to publicly shame him.
Okay,
it's $8, Simmons.
Yes, but I need that Regigigas in my life. I don't want to hear your sass.
Wait, okay. I know this was kind of like unsprung, and I think, Chris, you were planning this, but just this does beg the question: would you consider Regigigas your wife?
I really can't. Oh.
I would like to get topped by a Regigigas.
Okay. And on that note, the Intel Ghost Canyon NUC.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
All right. So, hang on. I'll start out with this. So
go ahead.
Remember, I guess like 2 or 3 weeks ago when we were talking about the Intel Element compute card, it was like an entire computer on a PCI Express card. And the idea is you have like this easily upgradable card. So it's just a motherboard and it piggybacks off the PCI Express form factor. Really cool little device. And I'm actually disappointed in myself for not making this connection because the Quartz Canyon NUC, Quartz Canyon and Ghost Canyon are Intel's new upcoming, very high-end, like far more powerful than such a small PC should be. Desktops. Quartz Canyon is like Xeon for workstations and whatnot. But either way, they are using the Element compute card. And what Intel has done is they have taken this and they've made this little adapter board that the card plugs into. And it has a couple PCI Express slots. I think it has an M2 slot hanging off it. I'm not certain on that, but I've done I've analyzed the pictures, and it looks like there's an M2 slot. But it's got like all of this I/O, and it's a rather small PC. So it's not out yet. I'm not sure Intel has officially announced it, actually, but somebody in China managed to get their hands on it and did some very detailed teardown photos of it. So we now know what it looks like, and we can kind of guess how it works as well. WCCF posted this in English, and they've got all the pictures because I couldn't get them to load on the Chinese site. It's got really good specs, though. It comes with up to an 8-core i9 or Xeon if you get Quartz Canyon. It comes with a PCI Express by 16 slot, a PCI Express by 4 slot, 2 SODIMM slots for memory, 3 M2 slots, supports Intel Optane, supports Thunderbolt, comes with a pretty beefy power supply. It's 500 watts, so that should support like any single graphics card. Just overall, really good specs, and all of this is in a 5-liter case. It's tiny.
So I've got a question for you, first of all, because looking at these photos, the first thing that comes to mind is it's obviously nesting in this by 16 slot daughter board. And then you have your M.2 connectivity and then your by 4 connectivity. Do you think that it's a true by 16 slot, or do you think it's just that they're utilizing the form factor just as something that's readily available, shoving this computer into the by 16 slot, and then you have your expansion based on that? Because I'm looking at this daughter board and it doesn't appear to be any power connected to the daughter board itself.
That is correct. There is actually a socket on the compute card. If you look closely, there is an 8-pin socket. So that's up to 150 watts of the CPU.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess the whole motherboard.
because the first thing that I immediately know will happen is somebody's going to get one of these things. They're going to tear it apart. They're going to shove it into a random ATX motherboard and hope for the best. I don't think that's going to work, because my theory is that by 16 slot is just utilized for the data transfer and power delivery from the compute card to everything that's connected.
Well, so effectively, as I understand it, just based on all of the pictures that I'm seeing, it looks like that the edge connector on the compute card is no different than a by 16 slot on a motherboard. It's just a different kind of connection, but it does the same stuff. It's going to supply power, and it's going to supply 16 PCI Express lanes. It's just the male slot, the male edge connector, instead of the female socket.
Right.
So, yeah, you could try plugging this into your motherboard. I'm sure Intel has thought of this, and it won't, fry the thing. I certainly hope they have, but I don't think there's going to be any way to, communicate with a host system. They might do that. We'll see, because Intel has had, visual compute accelerators in the past, which were, effectively triple socket Xeons that were used for, quick sync.
I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is if it does just work by plugging into a random motherboard. First of all, there would need to be some sort of storage on the compute card itself in order for the thing to work. But in theory, you could just jam this.
Oh yeah, it's got two M2 slots
into a full-size tower case as a dedicated compute unit for whatever reason. And I like that idea of computer within a computer very much.
I don't think there's a network over PCI Express protocol that can be used, unfortunately.
But that's the thing, is I'm looking at this thing and it's got two NICs on the back of it. So you would just run your NUC to whatever network device that you're intending to run it to. And basically it's just an internalized device that you can just basically fill up your extra PCI Express slots if you were feeling really that masochistic.
Yeah.
And just have a dandy time, unless it just did not handshake at all with the chipset and the CPU of the host system, and then it just didn't function.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think they're just using the form factor. But now that you mention it, sticking it in a desktop, something that you could do, you could get an ATX case and a mini ITX motherboard. So now you've got those 7 expansion slots on the ATX case, but your mini ITX motherboard can't use them all. But you can still mount cards to it. They just won't plug in. And if it's the Ghost Canyon NUC, which is a standalone computer, no big deal. So you can just have 3 little slave nodes hooked up. And your main ITX board is a head node in a cluster.
See, admittedly, when you were initially, speaking about this idea, I thought you were going to say something like getting one of those Onda mining motherboards and just jamming 8 to 12 NUCs into a B250 motherboard, essentially.
I mean, I can get behind that, but I don't think that's going to work, unfortunately.
I don't think so either.
I'm still actually a little bit confused why they would go for that form factor, though. What's the benefit for having a PCIe slot at all?
As far as I can understand, it's because it fits what they need it to, and the PCI Express specification is established. It can handle this much power. It is made to these mechanical specs. It is made to these sizes. I don't know. That's really all there is to it. It's kind of like why Asus, on a lot of their motherboards, they have DIMM slots and SODIMM slots that hold M.2 adapters. And they're using that SODIMM slot because, it can handle high-speed signals. And it's vertical, and they can just piggyback off an existing standard for a very non-standard application. I'm trying to think if there's other devices like that. I mean, if you look in silly consumer electronic stuff, I've got a little light, and it's powered by a 19-volt wall port, and it just uses a mini USB connector. Just stock standard mini USB. I could plug it into my keyboard and it'd fry the thing. But
you should do that.
Yeah,
no,
let us know
I'm
how
not
that goes.
going to. I'm not going to do that. But it's just piggybacking off the existing standard. There's already supply chains for it, just all kinds of stuff. So,
yeah, and then my other concern is what happens if because it looks like there's the intended NUC PCI Express slot, and then there's your graphics PCI Express slot. What happens if you put your NUC into the blue slot instead of the black slot?
I have to assume that Intel has thought of this and it will not hurt things, but it probably just won't work. Because I don't know, computers are advanced enough that they can be made idiot-proof, and users are dumb enough that computers have to be idiot-proof.
Yeah, so. You're not wrong.
With Intel, though, when there's like a new vulnerability about their chipsets coming up every other week, you really can't. The manufacturer doesn't even know. So how's the consumer supposed to?
To be fair, speculative execution side channel attacks are a little bit more complicated than plugging the thing into the wrong hole. So,
I mean, sometimes. But hey.
Yeah. I don't know where you're going with this, but let's move on.
Yes.
Really cool note. I want to get one, but I can't justify the price tag, and it's just got like stock standard core.
What is the MSRP on this thing looking like?
I think I saw it was something like $1,000 kitted out with a GPU.
God. What?
Oh my gosh!
Buy a Google. What's it called? The laptop that doesn't have a real operating system.
A Chromebook?
Yeah, they named it something different now.
Yeah, I punched my Chromebook in the screen yesterday.
Okay.
So moving on to the next topic, we have to bring up our obligatory AMD news, and I am proud to announce that Biostar is going to be providing Ryzen 9 support to even the A320 chipset motherboards.
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, so...
Oh, boy.
So, it looks like A320, B350, X370, B450, X470, X570 are all going to support the 3950X with a BIOS update on the older stuff, obviously. And then for the new ones, it's just going to be fully reverse compatible out of the box, essentially. And that is exciting.
Can I ask why? I've seen those boards. They're like 3+2 VRMs, uncooled, 1 4-pin, 2 DIMMs.
Well, let's take a look at the existing specs. I'm going to pull those up, but Simmon, say words.
Yeah, so my big theory right now is Biostar is known as like one of the budget-oriented brands, and with that in mind, they are just going to extend their support to all of their products with the asterisk when you are going to shove X really high power draw processor into your cheaper motherboard, that you, the consumer, are at fault here and can't hold Biostar accountable. They've done that in the past when they did the Gen 1 support on the Gen 2 boards.
Lower budget, like they have less features or they're less rigorously tested?
No, well, it's usually less features and less VRM. I'm looking at this one ATX motherboard. It's I am struggling to see the actual name of the thing, but it's got a dual slot or dual slots for DDR4. It's got a DVI connector, a VGA connector, 3-pin audio. It's one of those extra small mini ATX micro ATX motherboards. It's got a 3-phase VRM for the CPU.
Yeah.
It's
possibly less than that.
No. It looks like it's a true 3-phase, because then you've got your phases dedicated for your DDR4, and then you've got your phases dedicated for it's not the SOC, but basically
GPU Northridge.
Yeah, so it's like quite literally the bare minimum spec for what you can do for these things. They just pump out these motherboards too.
It's also worth keeping in mind that first gen Ryzen launch was rated for up to 95 watt TDP. And that's, in AMD's case, that is pretty close to a power target, I believe. Next generation, they raised that, so the top end 2700X was 105 watt. and they have kept that limit all the way up to the Ryzen 9 3950X this generation. It is still rated for up to 105 watts. I don't think that there is a practical difference between an 8-core chip rated for 95 watts and a 16-core chip rated for 105 watts that goes beyond that 10-watt difference, which means if this is safe with the 95-watt older CPUs, there's very little logical reason that it should be unsafe with the new 16-core CPUs just because of the power targets. I would certainly hope that they have like thermal shutdown on the VRMs because that is a bit anemic, but it's fine. And these aren't really oriented for overclocking anyway. Like Biostar, I mean, A320 can't overclock at all. Biostar, they also make a lot of embedded type motherboards as well.
Also, I find it absolutely hilarious that we'll be able to see one of these like bottom of the barrel, super cheap motherboards with the top end 16 core. And that just, it seems comical in almost a really sadistic kind of way.
Oh, you're just min-maxing your stats, Simmons. You're focusing on CPU performance.
Exactly.
You don't care a whole lot about I/O.
Yeah, and my other concern with like doing something like this, obviously, when you're going to these newer CPUs on this older tech, you can't guarantee that you're going to have any form of memory overclocking. What was it, DOHC? I think is what they call it on AMD.
Yeah,
so
XMP.
Well, it's the XMP equivalent. AMD has to have their own name for it.
Yeah, because XMP is Intel Tech.
You're right. And on that note, it's just, you're going to be, if you really just need to jam a brand new CPU into it, I see this more of making the motherboard last longer for probably like a pre-built system rather than the custom consumer market being a target for this kind of support. Because like you could buy like the first gen or the second gen Ryzen and then still populate this motherboard. But realistically speaking, Biostar is putting themselves in a position to say, no, our motherboards have longevity. You update your BIOS and then you can put in a new CPU into this thing.
Yeah, let's check a PC part picker. I'm not sure how common the A320 chipset is, but I think most consumer boards are B350 and up.
Yeah, you're right.
There's a handful on PC part picker, but it's not a lot.
Well, the running rumor for the A320 was its intended use case was pre-built systems. And I'm talking about those Dells that are mass produced and mass sold at significant markup to corporations.
Yeah, also the A300 chipset, which just ditched it ditched all of like the SATA ports and USB and whatnot. It just kept like SPI bus, low pin count bus, like, we need to handle secure boot. That's all the BIOS does, or the Southbridge, whatever, chipset.
Alex, it sounded like you were about to say something. I'm sorry.
Yes, I just find it kind of funny. You compare a $750 CPU with a, $70 motherboard?
No, you're looking at like 40 or 50.
Oh.
Yeah, no. Biostar is fairly notorious for just selling really cheap boards. But then they have a couple nuanced boards that they bring to stuff like Computex that is like, no, we're actually catering to the high end. No, their big market is the cheap stuff.
Yeah, they know where their margins are, because at the end of the day, someone's got to be on that bottom end.
And that's the other thing I wanted to mention is just like Biostar has been around for a long time selling motherboards, but it wasn't until A320 and B350 came out where we actually started hearing them in the custom PC market, because that's when they started pushing the custom built computer market. It's like, hey, we're here too, guys.
They were around before, like Pentium 4 days and stuff. They were actually a popular choice. They just kind of disappeared for a while.
Yeah, but they haven't stopped producing the motherboards.
Right?
No. They just like stopped doing
marketing.
Yeah.
Was it Biostar and American Megatrends? I remember seeing those at the boot up of many a Dell computer.
Exactly. I mean, like, and that's their thing, is like they're just expanding to this other market at this point. And the fact that they can put out this kind of press makes Biostar look like, hey, we actually care about the consumer. No, I think it's really just for longevity support of their cheaper motherboards. And I think it's really cool in that regard.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially since AMD said, like, I don't know, I really question I'm not a fan with how AMD handled like, look, all of our old motherboards will support Ryzen through like 2021 or something like that. And it's like, that's not really your call to make, guys. You're not making and supporting the motherboards. And then back in July, when Ryzen 3 series or Ryzen 3000 series actually got announced, it was like, oh yeah, A320 won't support this. Some B350 and X370 might. It's like, okay, that's
but
especially A320.
Looking back to when we were talking about that, when they officially made that announcement, I feel like now looking back at that announcement being made, that announcement was probably based on what the vendors or the board manufacturers were telling them, is that we are not going to be supporting this chipset with the CPU versus we will be supporting this.
That's fair. It's not AMD like telling them they have to do this. It's AMD is reporting what they're planning.
Yeah. It's like they have the capability baked into these old boards, older boards, I should say, to support it. It's just up to the board partners to actually do it.
Yeah, I'd say so. Anyway, that's enough Biostar for today. Simmons, you can.
I'll shut up now.
Yeah, you sound very excited about Biostar.
Yeah, that's my thing.
No, I'm still just excited for the base model Threadripper 3.
Yes. Oh yeah, you both.
Hey, you're gonna buy your friggin' 8-core Threadripper 3900.
I am not. No, the 3900X is AM4. I can't buy that.
You can probably get a socket adapter.
Wouldn't that be funny?
I've still got one for 775 to 478. I need to that.
So, how good are you guys with some very far-reach, weird conspiracy theories?
Oh, I'm good at them.
Frick, this one is for you. So, people are up in arms. They are elated in some places that EA is apparently hinting at returning to Steam. Now, how would normal marketing campaigns do this? They'd send out something obvious, maybe, say they're working with Valve or something along those lines. But no, they tweeted out a picture of a mug with in that mug there was a hot beverage. From that hot beverage, some steam was emanating from said hot beverage. And now, people are taking this as EA is returning to Steam.
No, I think that's wrong. I think EA bought Valve. They own Steam now. That's how it works.
Oh yeah, that's how it works.
I bet Gabe would stab us in the back.
Can you imagine?
I'd like to point out that the tweet has been deleted.
EA actually buys Valve.
Has it?
Half-Life every single year.
The tweet's still up. I'm seeing it.
Oh, I can't.
How many times would Half-Life 1 be released? Just the new version, just calling it 1.
It's only been remade once, and that's with Black Mesa. And Black Mesa isn't done yet.
EA. Like they've got like 4 Battlefield 1s.
Yeah, I could see them. If they made Half-Life 2, they'd actually make it Half-Life 1. Like, because it was Half-Life, then Half-Life 2. They'd make Half-Life 1.
See, this is hilarious because I didn't realize that EA acquired Steam. I just looked up a quick news article of when that was announced, and that was back in 2012. And that was well before I was in computers. So
no, EA didn't buy Steam. What?
Or they bought Valve. Sorry.
What? EA didn't buy Valve.
I bet Epic bought Valve.
What? You can't buy Valve. They're a privately owned company.
Oh no, they tried.
Yeah,
no,
that means
I can't read. My bad.
It's a big difference.
Okay. Yeah, disregard. I'm stupid.
Yes.
So no, EA has not bought Valve. Simmons is stupid. And I mean, it might be a hint at them returning to Steam, but like, who cares, honestly?
One of those things, it's the timing is what's so interesting about this, because this is happening just as the Epic Game Store is starting to get like a lot more market traction. And now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're out. We're done. It's over.
I mean, honestly, like the thing stopping me from buying a lot of EA games isn't the fact of our Origin store. it's the fact that the games are garbage. So
yeah.
I mean,
doesn't really matter if it's on Steam. I'm still not going to buy it.
I gladly installed Origin for the Mass Effect trilogy. I need to get the DLC for it, in fact, because it's
boy.
DLC. But
the red,
there's
green, or blue
not a
DLC.
whole lot that I want. Ha! I get it. That's a reference to the ending.
Joke.
Mass Effect 3 is the funnest game in the trilogy. Don't at me.
I actually got bored at Mass Effect 1 and I just stopped halfway through.
Yeah, Mass Effect 1 is just ass to play, like complete garbage gameplay wise.
At least they have facial animations.
Well, yeah, Andromeda was bad. Andromeda doesn't exist.
What was the last EA game you guys played?
Apex Legends.
Apex Legends. Oh god.
Chris, yeah, same actually.
Oh, what's wrong with both of you?
I mean, granted, I played it for 3 months and then I stopped, and I have since uninstalled Origin.
I didn't play it because I liked EA. I played it because I like Respawn and I like Titanfall, so I wanted to support them.
Okay, that makes a bit of sense.
Titanfall is a good title.
Titanfall was good. Oh, I remember the title. So the Titanfall beta, right, was in South Africa, and lots of people liked it. And then they're like, cool, guys, thank you for trying out the beta. We're going to ban it. Well, not ban it. We're not going to sell it in South Africa. So bye.
Wow.
And that was very upsetting for a lot of people.
Gee, I wonder why you were upset about that.
Oh, because like I tried it out. It's like, oh, this is really cool. I mean, the 300 ms kind of sucks, but maybe it's going to get better on release. It's like, no, we're just not going to sell it in South Africa. And people had pre-ordered it as well, which was kind of
nice
for them.
So basically, a bunch of people gave interest-free loans to EA and got nothing.
I mean, that's kind of what a pre-order is, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
it's like tax returns as well. Anyway, not allowed to discuss on the podcast.
I mean, that's what they are. It's
yeah.
This isn't up for debate, but you know what is up for debate? Whether or not vaccines will.
No, Chris.
I think the last EA game I played was Spore. Not like when it was new, because I played it probably a year ago.
Oh,
yeah, same. Either
last
that
one
or,
I played that was new at the time is probably Battlefield 3. Like, I can't think of any EA games.
I never actually played any of the Battlefield games. So
Battlefield Bad Company, well, actually, up until 3, I think they were all really good. I played Battlefield 1942, I loved it. Vietnam, I loved. Battlefield 2, I loved. Battlefield Bad Company 2, I loved. And Battlefield 3, I loved. Like, they kept getting better. And then 4 was like, this feels very EA-like. I think 1 followed it, and I was like, well, this is very EA-like. And then 5 followed that, and it's like, well, guess that got ruined. So,
I mean, EA Access, the one thing I do like about EA, and I've been seeing this a lot with other, I think what else, Sony's doing it, and I think Microsoft started doing it, is they have a subscription service where you can just pay like $10 a month or something, and you can play a bunch of games, like new games for that one price. And that's pretty awesome. I like that a lot.
It's like Netflix, but good.
It's like a Netflix. Yeah. And that's sort of like where the trend is going, which is why I don't think they're getting rid of Origin, because I'm sure they probably still make a lot of money off that subscription service. And you know what? What if now, because Microsoft started doing it, which is, if you haven't gotten that, $1 for like 3 months or something for 3 years.
Oh, yeah.
Got to get that. What if Steam did that? Like a subscription service for Steam, $15 a month, play any game you want on Steam.
The problem I have with that is that would be very challenging to regulate for them, given how vast the library is.
Oh god, yeah, they would have to like license all of that. That would be a huge mess. They could do like Valve games, but what? That's Portal and Portal 2. Okay, cool. That's something you like play once or twice.
See. Okay, so the thing with that is, like, the thing with the Valve games is, like, whenever the Steam summer sale comes up, you can buy the entire Half-Life franchise for $5. So it doesn't matter. No, I foresee that if they ever try to do a subscription service, it would be specific publishers have an agreement with Valve to be able to add their libraries to this subscription service, but there would have to be some sort of cap on how many games you could play at a time or have access to at a time, because with the Steam, you have the permanence. Once you have the product key, it's your game forever. How do they enforce not being able to play the game after so much time.
The key expires. You have a temporary license.
But you can play in offline mode and you can bypass a lot of that stuff.
You can do weekend
that's
on
an
Steam
issue.
where it expires after like 48 hours or 24 hours, and then it just gets removed from your library.
Clearly they should alter it so you can't do it in offline mode.
So if they were to do a subscription service, it would have to be some sort of agreement with specific publishers on Steam. And
I don't see that too hard. Like they just have either EA or they have Battlefield subscription service, or they have like, I don't know, if they went with other things that don't offer it, like the Need for Speed subscription service or FIFA or whatever,
I think technically it's not a challenge. I think politically it's more of an issue, only because that kind of subscription service makes a lot of sense for the big publishers. But then everybody who is a like indie publisher, you have your Undertales and your bullet hell games and stuff along those lines, and they're going to go up in arms in like mob mentality. It's like, why are you only supporting the big companies? Do you not care about the little companies? And I don't think that they're in a position to deal with that kind of madness.
And also, as dumb as it sounds, I think that there are quite a few people. I mean, I also kind of actually feel it. I prefer to own a game rather than rent it, but it really depends on the type of game. I'm not buying AAA games much anymore.
Exactly.
And if I am, it's like kind of a premeditated decision. I'm not like, ooh, FIFA 2020, buy.
Purchase FIFA.
Yeah. I mean, those things as well, if it's $15 a month, you got to keep in mind you need to at least play 3 AAA games a year to make your money's worth of it. So that's probably what they're banking on. You got to do FIFA, Battlefield, and
they're just banking on people forgetting to unsub.
That's what I was going to say. It's like when you look at like Origin or Microsoft, for that matter, where the library is much more limited than what Steam has to offer, it's a lot easier to justify this service that you probably forgot to play all the games that you have access to this month. And they're making the profit on just laziness.
Oh, definitely.
So,
if you want an idea of context, EA for their Origin Access service is charging $5 a month or $30 a year, and you get access to 235 games that are always being updated. And the games are modern. They got like Battlefield 5 on there. They've got Apex. They've got a bunch of stuff on there.
Do they have
and stuff? But like that's what the baseline is, right? That's where you begin. $5 a month, $30 a year, 240 some games. And you get a 10% discount off on Origin stuff. I mean, that's where it is. That's what they'd have to compete with.
Okay, but out of interest, are any of the sports games on there?
Yeah, there's Madden. The new Madden's on there. FIFA's on there.
So the latest then?
Yeah.
Okay, that's interesting. I don't know why people don't do that then instead of just buying the FIFAs or the Maddens or whatever.
The FIFAs.
maybe they want like the DLC, not the DLC, the special edition content or.
Well, in some cases, in a lot of cases, you can get like really good deals on the sports games. Like I think my brother picked up this year's Madden for like $20 or something. I don't know. He's one of those console peasants. So yeah, I don't know.
Can you iterate that exactly the same way you did again?
Console peasants.
All right.
Class.
Are you going to sample this?
You can.
I probably will.
Service, which is $15 a month, and you get all the DLC from those games like FIFA and Madden and stuff.
Okay, so $15 a month. Did you say?
Yeah, so instead of being $5 a month, if you want it says extra content included with new EA games.
15 additional.
No, 15 total.
15 total. Okay, so 15 total, and that's how much a year? So 150 plus 30 is 180.
Or you can just pay a lump sum of $100 a year, as opposed to $30 a year.
Yeah, that's.
I appreciated the voice crack.
Thanks.
I can do that.
A deal. Even if you hate EA, that's a great deal to play a bunch of new games. $5 a month, like, come on.
Oh, you know what? I would actually totally do it for 1 month just to try out all the games as like I don't want to say a free trial type thing, but a low hassle trial.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
God,
but
it's
and that's how a lot of people justify those kind of services, right? But then a lot of people forget to unsub, and that's why this services are so successful.
Especially
it's only $5. Like you're losing $5, but it's not like what the worst ones are the ones that start you in a trial period that's like $5, and then it expires after like a month or two, and now it's like $50 a month or something.
Well, I've been hit with some of those on certain websites.
But I draw parallels to like many of the subscription services that are out there. Like many people who have like Twitch subscriptions, like actual paid for Twitch subscriptions, and not Amazon Prime.
Dollar Shave Club.
What?
Or like Pandora or Hulu or stuff along those lines. It's like it's almost Pandora. I mean, I do, but I'm wrong, so it's okay.
Pandora's just Spotify for idiots. That's why you're using it.
Yeah, you're right.
Basically, boomer Spotify.
Yeah, basically. But there is a lot of good drum and bass on there, so I can't complain too much.
Actually, no. Boomer Spotify, Sirius XM. I'd say this after my dad recently acquired several vehicles subscriptions for Sirius XM.
Oh my goodness, no.
So going back to what I was saying though, is like a lot of these subscription services where it's super cheap, a lot of people forget about them because it's only $5. It's only $2 here.
Earth forgets about that.
A lot of people do, and that's why a lot of these subscription services are successful, like the Sirius one. And it's just they are still around because people are still paying money to these services,
unbeknownst to them.
Well, it's not even unbeknownst. They forgot. Yeah, like I mean, I don't want to go into the whole people forget about how much they're spending on things rant, because that's a different thing. But that's exactly it. It's like if you have one $5 subscription service here and one $5 subscription service here, oh, it's only another $5. Oh, it's only another $5. I mean, yeah, it's successful for a reason.
Well, I get that.
A day.
God, what if Starbucks had a subscription service so you could like pay, I don't know, X dollars a month and get unlimited pumpkin spice lattes?
Dude, that wouldn't happen because you still dump all your money into pumpkin spice lattes, Chris.
Shut up, Simmons. I'm a white girl.
You know what I find?
They lure you in with pumpkin spice lattes, and then they trick you into buying all the brownies and cupcakes.
Or the cake pops.
I don't trust baking that isn't my own. It usually kills me.
Okay, so
attempts to kill me.
So hang on. So your guys' muffins, American muffins, are terrible.
Muffins are cupcakes for idiots.
Those are American muffins.
Okay, define to me a non-American muffin.
One that doesn't have an excessive amount of sugar added to it.
Are you talking about frosting?
No. So
no.
Muffins I've had in like not North America. They'd have a nice sort of like the crust of the muffin would be nice and kind of
caramelized.
It's not caramelized. I'm trying to say it's like firm, but not. It's like, you know, it's crunch, not crunchy, but it's firm. You know, it's like it's like a layer on it
rather than a crunchy muff.
Yeah, and then the inside is like soft and moist. It's like a very light on sugar cake, right?
Moist muff.
But the ones I've had at Starbucks, the ones I've had here in Canada, they're very sweet. Like there's way too much sugar added into it.
Maybe you're just getting old.
Well, okay, so
here you can tell from the calorie difference alone. Like the calories in a Starbucks muffin's like 300 kilocalories.
We've talked about this, Alex. We've talked about
this. Who says kilocalories? Come on.
And people who are not in the States.
Sweetness. The older you get, the less tolerant you are of sweet stuff. So you get real sensitive to it.
I mean,
no, but you can't say, like, I at the same time, I'm drinking a pumpkin spice latte, which is 380
Hello, can I get a skinny muffin?
No, but it's way too many calories of sugar. It's just too much sugar. It just tastes bad. Like,
so
it's bad.
Basically,
a lot of pastries in America just have way too much sugar because you guys think you have to have sugar in pastries.
Okay, I'm gonna stop you right there. Basically, what you're complaining about is store-bought pastries, and that's not a valid comparison because, like, if you go to, say, the Panera Bread or your local baker, and you get fresh muffins from them, you get that exact firm muff that you are referring to, and it's low in the sugar, and it's fresh and it's moist and it's delicious. So first of all, comparing processed pastries to fresh is not valid.
When I compare this for you, Alex, I looked up the pumpkin cream cheese muffin on Starbucks website. It has 34 grams of sugar, 350 calories.
But
that is not bad. That's not bad at all.
No, it's not.
But
that's also a muffin that's intentionally trying to be a really sweet pastry. Before we get too off topic, I'm going to change back to a tech topic.
Stop. Hang on. Stop. We need to finish. I've been waiting. No, Frick, I don't care what you're going to say. What I'm trying to say here is that the Starbucks
Alex,
muffin,
you don't know our culture or our ways.
I think that's for the best.
The Starbucks muffin, right? It's small. It looks like one you could get from
113 grams. That's pretty decent.
It looks like one you can get from a grocery store, right? It's not that big. It's soft on top. It's got like added sugar on top. It's not that good. It's too soft. Hang on. It's too soft on top. It needs to be crunchy on top, right?
The ones
I got at other coffee stores, right? In like South Africa, for example, right? They're bigger. They're more savory. They've got a crunchy muffin top, right? They're better. I'm not comparing like, a bakery versus a processed Starbucks one. It's two major coffee companies, right? Both processed muffins. They kind of bake them there with a pre-made recipe. The Starbucks one is worse, but it's not just the Starbucks one. The Tim Hortons one. Any sort of pre-made muffin here sucks.
Fair enough. But it's also
they have
a lot.
Yes, a lot. Also, your Coke here sucks, but that's just a side note. Anyway.
Hey, Mexican Coke has cane sugar in it, so...
Yeah, so does South African.
Yeah, and it's so much better.
You can just get cane sugar Coke here.
Yep.
You can purchase Mexican Coke. Ha! You're on the wrong border.
Okay, so...
Back to tech talk. That. It's like, is it the right one or the wrong one?
You're one of those.
No.
I don't get it. I'm saying words.
This is all right. Have y'all heard about hard drives?
No. Tell me about hard drives.
Muffin cast.
Okay.
Let's reverse a bit. What does a muffin cost?
A muffin podcast. We're not going to get too much into this, and then we'll talk about hard drives. But
no, we can talk about our muffcasts.
We found a podcast like completely dedicated to reviewing cereal.
Frick, what did they say about Oreo O's?
I have to see. I don't know, but we found it. Like, it's the only cereal podcast on the planet, and it's amazing.
Just look in the voice lobby chat. This is like Simmons right now.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, he's gonna have an aneurysm.
Our listeners are gonna have no context to it, which makes it that much funnier.
Alex, stick popcorn on the cob in the thumbnail.
No.
Okay.
All right. So next topic.
Next
topic. There's something about chickens in here and eggs.
No.
Fine.
No. I'll just get through this real quick. Basically, Western Digital has announced their new server drives, or their NAS-based storage drives. They're looking at a NAS SATA SSD. 500 gig up to 4 terabyte in the 2.5-inch form factor, intended for 24/7 use. We're also looking at 14 terabyte spinning rest drives. They are intended for servers
Simmons
around
4 terabyte
days.
Okay.
No, 14.
No, I just missed the flash thing that clicked in my brain.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay,
you're $600.
You're not excited. You're not as excited as you should be for this. I've used WD Red drives since they came out. I love them.
No, I am.
No. Higher tension. More tension. This is amazing, Simmons.
Yes.
In seriousness, I've been looking for a replacement for my WD Reds for like a really, really long time because the 4 terabytes are $300. Sorry, not the 4 terabytes. The 8 terabytes are $300 Canadian. That's like 250 US, and that's too much for an 8 terabyte hard drive for me. And at the same time, I would really want to see WD delve into the flash for storage thing, because they got the WD Blue and the WD Black SSD.
Right.
I have a WD Blue SSD. It's amazing. It was 30% cheaper than my 850 Evo, and it's better. You know?
Oh yeah.
Like, I think they bought SanDisk WD, and ever since they did that, their quality in SSDs have just gone absolutely through the roof. And
yeah.
No, because previously to that, like, they had very poor competitors to SSDs, and
they had OCZ and Mushkin.
Yeah, but if this, I'm glad they're announcing this, because they've sat on their current WD Red lineup for. I have one of them, and I bought it 3 years ago, I think 3-4 years ago, and it was like brand new at the time. Well, not brand new, but like, you know, it'd been around for about 6 months or so. So for them breaking the 14 terabyte, I think it was, 14 terabyte for hard drives on the higher end, I hope that means the mid-range is going to be 8 terabytes, and we're going to see a massive price reduction, maybe.
So there is good news about this announcement that you're going to like. For the SSD specifically, you're looking for $72 for the 500 gigs and $297 for the 4 terabyte.
No, $600 for 4 terabyte.
Oh god,
these aren't actually that good prices on Flash.
Oh no, sorry, I misread that. But
Enterprise Flash.
But on the standard red hard drives, so they have two lines. They have the red NAS line and the red Pro NAS line. So on the red Pro NAS line, you're looking at the same capacity, but the difference between the two is on the standard line, you're looking for basic vibration resistance up to 8. They're looking at up to 8 drives in the server, and then for the Pro line, they're looking for up to, it looks like
24. Let's see.
Yep, 24 drives in the server, and what's the MSRP that they're looking at? It looks like $525 for the 14 terabyte hard drive for the standard line.
How much is that per terabyte? Okay, 525, 514.
Okay, Chris, while you're working,
that's not very good.
It is a 14 terabyte drive.
I know you do pay more for the larger capacity,
like,
but still, that's not great, because it's
no, I know it's not great, whatever, right? But like, that's not, to be honest, that's not a great thing to judge it by. I'm very interested to see the current cusp where we have the 8 and 10 terabytes that are like, you know, that kind of edge. I know we have some, I think 12 terabytes, you know, and then you're paying a lot for that premium.
Yeah.
If now the premium is going to shift to 14 terabytes, are the 8 terabytes going to be, are we going to see $200 or $150? That's dreaming.
See, I assume
drives.
I assume so, only because the 525 drive is going to be the 14 terabytes. So everything smaller is going to have to scale down with it. So then you're going to see the last gen 8 terabyte drives also scale down to make them less, or to make the newer 8 terabyte drives still competitive.
Yeah. It's also worth noting, these frequently find their ways into external enclosures, so you can just shuck them from those. You're not going to get the same warranty. I mean, obviously, you've just voided the warranty on the enclosure, but frequently you get the same drive for less. It's just a white label instead of the fancy one.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd find the 3.5 inch. Like, I'm pretty interested in the 3.5 inch. Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, you do. Like, if you're looking at like 8, 10 terabyte external enclosures, they're less common than like the plug-in with USB enclosures, but they're out there. Yeah,
I would be interested in the warranty as well. I suppose you could just put it back in and send it back for warranty, but
I will simply buy redundancy.
So the thing I like about these is at least I know the non-pro ones spin at 5,400 RPM, which I much prefer. And they have a lot.
Yeah, because you're looking at archival storage, so that makes sense.
It annoys me. No, I know genuinely some people are like, oh no, you should get 7,200 RPM for your NAS or your server. Silly. It's like, why? No. My current hard drive, so I have 2 WD Reds, and honestly, during summer they get very close to 45 degrees. Like, if they were 7,200 RPM, they would go over that.
Hard drives aren't that bad. They did, what was that old study that they did? Like, what is it?
No, it's over 45 degrees they start degrading, and then I think it's under 25 degrees they start degrading like drastic.
They should be a bit warm.
I'm talking about the backblaze study. I think they showed like the optimal.
Okay, no, Frick, do not cite backblaze. There's so many issues with their data. It's
backblaze.
The problem is they just have way too many variables.
It's not even that. It's not even that. It's just like the way they kind of group drives together. That's why like Reddit took off and was like, oh yeah, Seagate's so bad. Look at these backblaze numbers. But it's because they lumped this one particular drive with like a 30% failure rate in with all of Seagate. It's just I don't like it.
Yeah. Anyway, speaking of, I don't know. We're not actually.
Wait. No. Last thing on hard drives, Alex. Just regarding rotation rate. Keep in mind, even if you have 10 gigabit Ethernet, that's only 125 megabytes per second over the network. You can reach like double that on a 5400 RPM hard drive. Like, you can saturate a network link twice over. There is no need for fast drives on a NAS on a home network. And if you've got flash storage as like your primary storage anyway, either like some kind of a caching solution, there's no point having a fast HDD because Rust doesn't need to be fast. You want it to be quiet.
Also keep in mind when you are building a home NAS, you're looking at probably 3 or 4 drives in a RAID 5 or RAID 6 configuration, or a Z, or like what's that? The
Z-RAID,
the Z-RAID configuration. Yeah, the FreeNAS.
Yeah,
I've got mayonnaise on the name.
I don't like ZNAS. I mean Z-RAID or whatever it is.
Wow, we're all over the place with this one. But like a lot of the performance deficits that you have from the traditional hard drive can be alleviated with a multi-drive configuration anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh my, who cares about like RAID? I mean NAS performance when you're like home use.
I mean,
seriously.
Honestly, it really depends on what you're using your NAS for, because I know a lot of people are using the NAS configuration.
Sorry, my Siri activated when I said, "Hey, seriously."
I mean, so like I know a lot of people who are building these home NASs are doing it for at home like video production kind of stuff. So people then complain, and then you have your SSD caching.
No, but I think
he has a NAS farm just for rendering all his videos.
Hang on. I really think that like people like to complain as if it actually matters to them versus kind of figuring out a different workaround. Like Linus is a really bad example because he's got a company to run. He can spend money and he has a legitimate reason.
To him.
No, he can afford it and it earns him money because it is a device for business. Yeah.
Hang on.
So fine, contributing.
So this is also kind of I want to bring back to when people were like, this is not at you Simmons, but they're like, I need Threadripper because I render videos in my spare time, and realistically, all they do is they either lie to themselves or they've made one YouTube video in their entire life and they've uploaded it in 2015. They like to pretend I mega task, Do you remember megatasking as a buzzword? Anyway.
No, I don't.
Ow.
And I'm glad I don't.
They'll pretend like
my threads.
No, they'll pretend like they need this throughput when in reality they don't. Like, I don't mind that it takes. I do have 10 gig Ethernet somehow, but even if I copy 400 gigs to my current shoddy SAN, and it sits at like, I actually don't know what to say. I think it sits at like just under 100 megabytes a second. I don't care. I don't need it to complete instantly.
Yeah.
There's nothing.
But I wouldn't even complain with 100 megabyte per second throughput. That's really good.
I know.
Oh,
if it was yeah. Yeah, I know you
screwed
thought
up
it
math.
wrong.
I screwed up math. It's 1250 megabytes per second over 10 gigabit. So that's like 2 SATA links. Okay, I'm an idiot. I'm sorry.
That's fine. It's fine. I have 10 gig E, except for my my NAS. It's 1 gig E NIC, which is fun bottleneck. But I don't care. Like, it copies fast enough. I don't need that access now. render anything. I don't need that on. If I did and it was like home use, like a certain other small forum video YouTuber that makes a video every, let's say, 2 videos a month or whatever, I would just have local SSD storage, or heck, even put it on when I render these podcasts, I put it on that SAN actually, and it doesn't really complain. But if it did complain, I would put it on my local SSD, because the one project file is going to be like at most 10 gigs.
Yeah, and it's like
the world.
Here's the deal.
And then once I'm done, I offload it to the SAN.
I keep thinking like, I should really get a 10 gigabit NICs for the my desktop and my server, and then I just look at the pricing, and it's like $100 for used SFP gear, $150 for new RJ45 gear, and I think about it, and then I go into my network settings and I click the little icon, and it turns out I've got a 100 megabit Ethernet link between my desktop and the router. And I just don't really care. It would be a speed up by a factor of 100, and I just don't really care as it is.
See, Chris. Once you decide that you want to make that jump, I will bring you into the world of managed networking, and I will.
Oh yeah,
the glory. That is my livelihood.
Yes, please,
Simmons,
Daddy, teach me.
Yes.
Simmons, no offense to your livelihood. Actually, you know what? No. Simmons, I have a MikroTik router/router, whatever you want to call it, that has been sitting in my cupboard. It's been sitting in my cupboard for like a year. You need to help me set it up, because I cannot access the it gives you an IP and a port, and you're supposed to visit it. It just doesn't work. And I was like, okay. And then I just shoved it in a cupboard, and I was like, I don't care.
And on our next episode of Managed Networking with Simmons, I got you, buddy.
Because the problem I have is I expected my ISP's router to be absolutely terrible. The problem is it's too good. It's not bad. It does all the things I need in a really nice fashion. It's not unstable. So I'm like, there's no point for this MikroTik router. So
yeah.
So
but you can water cool it, according to our favorite Linus Tech Tips.
I mean, I could water cool it, but like it'd be really gay.
LN2 server.
Oh no.
LN2 networking switch.
Actually, no. Yeah, Dice network gear.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no. We can work on that some other time, buddy.
Okie dokie. So, recently I purchased the best flagship that is currently out, which is a hot take, the iPhone 11 Pro, and that is a non-disputed option. Simmons, you aren't allowed to talk. Frick, you're definitely not allowed to talk. Andrew's allowed to talk. Andrew's allowed to talk. He agrees with me. It's the best flagship out at the moment.
Wait, did you buy an iPhone? I don't think you've mentioned it before.
No, I haven't. I've only mentioned it like 6 times.
Hey, Alex, are you vegan?
Do you know what's funny? No, I'm actually not. But do you know what's funny is I've actually mentioned it more on the podcast than anywhere else in my life.
Why am I not surprised?
Anyway, so
you just love to rub the salt into my eyeballs.
One of the alternatives you could have purchased, which a friend of mine did purchase because he loves that offset notch. Yeah, so you could have bought the latest Samsung Galaxy S10. And there seems to be a little bit of a fun flaw in that. So the new S10 has a flaw which allows anyone to unlock the phone with any fingerprint.
So I guess here's my question: is this an out of the box vulnerability that you can just pick up any random S10 and unlock it, or is there a specific use case that triggers this flaw?
It's a specific use case from what I kind of have gathered. So if you get an S10, whoop, yay, I've got my S10. I'm going to name this Deborah's S10. Cool, woo, woo, woo. You set it up and then you put on a screen protector, right? I think because of the with fingerprint recognition, we have like, it'll try and piece together like 50% of your fingerprint. Okay, it's probably still you. I'll unlock it to make it quicker and stuff like that. I think with the screen protector adding the extra distance, it's always like going.
It's giving it like more of a margin of error to work with. Like, we'll fudge this a bit.
And I think it's going to such a point that they're kind of maybe sacrificing security for they want this to be as quick as traditional fingerprint sensors or readers, if you will. So I think it's just within such a big margin of error. It's opening with, I wouldn't say probably everyone, I don't know, but probably opening with just too many people's fingerprints that share even just a little bit of the fingerprint. So
the pattern.
The pattern. Thank you. Yeah. That word. Samsung knows about this. My thoughts on the fix are that they're just going to roll out a software update, which basically requires more of the pattern to match. And it might make it slower, but hey, I'd much rather have a slower phone to unlock that's secure.
Yeah, I simply don't use biometric unlocks because...
Yeah, no, Chris, you see, I have a problem with you because you complain about features that your phone doesn't have or is broken, and then you disable like half the...
Okay, first of all, number one, I found it to be pretty inconsistent in my experience on the iPhone, regardless of model. Granted, the newest one I've used is a 6S. But second of all, United States case law is rather behind on like biometric-based passwords. So a password like the text-based password is not exactly where you're protected in the same way as like a fingerprint or a retina scanner or something like that. So yeah, screw you, the FBI. You ain't getting anything off me.
Okay, let me go in. Let me go another way. I also had the 6S. I honestly didn't have much of an issue with my fingerprint. You probably had Cheetos on your finger when you applied it. Let's be honest.
First of all, it's Cheez-Its.
Okay, Cheez-Its. Yeah, so then what do you think about Face ID then, where the police could just show your phone to your face and unlock it?
Yeah, even less reason to have that enabled.
All you have to do is close your eyes. You realize that's pretty easy to beat.
There was another bug that I was seeing where there is some phone, and I can't remember the manufacturer, that the Face ID unlocks with your eyes shut.
Yeah, Apple. All of them do. Microsoft as well. It's Face ID, not Eye ID.
Yeah, but it's looking for like the structure of your face.
You can set sort of how secure you want it to be. So I have mine set to less secure, so it only has to match like a little bit of my face. But it measures the distance between your features in your face. So if I cover my mouth and my nose, it won't pick it up because it can't measure the distances between those. But you can cover different portions of your face and it'll unlock it. I don't know how that's relevant, but I don't, and I know it sounds like a really bad excuse, but I don't have anything to hide from the police on my phone. So that's not.
Look at me. My name's Alex. I would support a fascist police state because I'm not doing bad things.
No, but listen, what I'm trying to say is I'm not going to make my everyday use of my phone inconvenient so that the police can't unlock it as easy.
My name Alex, boot tastes yummy. No, I mean, here's the deal. It's not really that inconvenient to press the home button and punch in 4 numbers. Like
it is more inconvenient than just pressing the home button. And that is technically true. Okay, I thought you were going to say that's debatable. I was like, that's not debatable.
I mean, it absolutely takes less time, but it's just muscle memory at this point, so it doesn't really concern me.
What else have you disabled in your phone, Chris?
3D touch, because it's terrible.
It's not terrible. Okay.
Shut up, Alex. 3D touch is awful. It is analog input on a touchscreen, and it shares many of its functions with long press. It's not good. I will fight you on this.
Certainly.
Okay, what else have you disabled in your phone?
I had to disable Zoom today because there is a bug with iOS 13 where you can't move apps around. So I was sitting in the floor of Kroger trying to install the Kroger app because I wanted to get cheap Cheez-Its.
See, now I just have this vision of you sitting cross-legged in front of the Cheez-Its.
I was not cross-legged, but...
Wait. What is Zoom?
When you like triple tap the home screen and it zooms in so you can see things bigger.
Chris, are you?
It's an accessibility. Yes.
Wait, do you need glasses or something?
No.
Can you not see the home screen? Dude, it's not even, it's like 720p.
No. What if I want to see it really big, Alex? Come on.
See, no. The thing with him is he's just lazy. He is the epitome of iPhone laziness.
No, not iPhone laziness. This has nothing to do with the hardware. This is just Chris.
Speak trash about the iPhone.
Well, Alex, you complain about me disabling things, so tell me, why should I disable Zoom? Just because my eyes work? Ooh, you're just gonna complain about me disabling things even though I don't have to.
I have a complaint about you disabling things which your phone gives you to make your life easier, and then you complain about your phone.
It's not
being
easier
hard to use. Like, it's literally like Apple's like, here, you can use this one button to unlock. And then you're like, why does it take so long to unlock my phone? It's like, well, you disabled the thumb.
I recognize that it takes long to unlock my phone.
I feel like we stopped talking about the phone. Like, this stopped being about the phone like 5 minutes ago.
Just
about Chris.
Yeah, can we talk about the meat skin yet?
Oh, you meant the Samsung Galaxy thing? Yeah, no one cares about that. Okay. So,
no, meat skin.
Meat skin.
All right,
meat skin.
Chris, tell us about it.
Skin.
Yeah, that's the one.
Tricky.
This is from New Scientist. A creepy human-like skin makes your phone ticklish and pinchable. I hadn't actually read the headline yet. I'm sorry. Forget protective covers. There are now skin-like phone cases that respond to being pinched and tickled.
Yeah,
it's just like this artificial skin. It is able to detect gestures, including sliding, stretching, and rotation. The skin also responds to different gestures that mimic human emotional communication. Oh, God, that's the most impersonal way of writing that sentence.
See, I'm glad you were so excited to talk about this, and now you're just very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
If you lick it.
It turns on.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
Sudden hard pressure on the skin is associated with anger, and tapping is a means of seeking attention, while sustained contact and stroking are associated with providing comfort.
Oh, this has gone from bad to worse.
All right. First of all, within the next 5 years, this is going to make it to the mass market in a personal health tool.
A personal health tool.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. But second of all, so I think this is like partially capacitive, partially piezoelectric. I'm not really clear on how this works. All I know is that material science is hella cool, and
it's not real skin, it's like silicone, right?
No, it's actually real skin. They harvest it from cadavers.
Yeah, no. Actually, what they want you to do is they will allow you to volunteer to take a skin graft off of yourself to implant it onto your phone. No, I'm kidding. I hope not.
This thing is like, the evolution of this is like, eventually you can start sweating. And then what?
Well, if you think about it, Frick, evaporative cooling is pretty effective.
Wait, so
I don't like
that. You drop your phone because it's too sweaty.
Oh, you made it.
Wait, does that mean that it'll get mad at you when you drop it?
Oh my God, you can make robots angry now. Robots can be made angry. This is awesome. I'm gonna piss off.
It doesn't let you press any buttons.
Yeah, but this is a phone cover, Chris. It's not a robot.
Not yet.
Well, no. So how much does it say how much this phone cover screen thing is going to cost?
I think this is just like prototypey proof of concept type things. It's
so I can't actually buy one.
No, not yet. I cannot wait until somebody gets their hands on this, though, especially if they can like detect gestures. If there's like some way to hook it up to like an I2C bus, it's like, yes, we can.
Wait, no, hang on. Did you not just say you hate analog inputs in a phone?
Well, here's the deal. I don't want this to be used for like main user interface, user interaction type things. However, if this were something like, say, I don't know, let's say, no, Alex, shut up. I'm saying I'm defending myself.
Okay.
But like, let's say somebody decides to bring back a Tamagotchi, right? But high tech. And they have this skin on it. So you can pet your Tamagotchi using this skin. Or maybe it's something like you could have two of these like over the internet. So you could like pet it and then it like pets the person on the other side, the person or the animal or whatever.
Please. No.
Maybe you could like hook it up to a bunch of like neurotransmitters, just vials of these, and it just like injects them straight into your brain if you pet it the right way. So like if you make it angry, then it injects the angry chemicals in your brain, and if you pet it nicely, it puts the dopamine in your brain.
Okay, well, that's enough of cynical talking
That's
about
the ramblings
something.
of a madman.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, it's Frankenstein's monster. Second of all.
So, cynical, did anyone leave a bobby pin on your kitchen counter?
Nevin?
No, but I need them for picking locks.
Okay, cool. So, enough about Cynical's weird skin thing.
Phone.
Yeah. Okay, that's
I want to
just...
pet the phone. What about the chickens?
No.
Can we not?
Okay, fine. We'll be nice.
So I'm sure you guys must have heard this. Do you know what is better than the number 76?
77.
360.
Paying $12 a month for something that doesn't work.
Exactly. And isn't it $13 a month?
Oh, is it?
I think it's $12.99. Anyway,
It's a bargain.
Fallout First. Fallout First is a subscription
Fallout
fee.
First, more like Fallout Worst.
Fallout First is a subscription fee to Fallout 76, the online game.
Remember when Fallout 76?
You're flabbergasted by it.
Remember when Fallout 76 launched for $60 MSRP? That was fun.
And it was broken.
Remember when I didn't get interrupted when introducing a topic? That was...
Remember when I just punched you in the mouth?
No. Anyway, Bethesda, Mr. Todd, has, they said they've continuously worked to improve Fallout 76 by doing nothing and taking your money for it. So instead, what they're going to do is take some more of your money for it every month or annually. If you feel confident in giving them even more money. They're excited to launch Fallout First. It's going to offer private worlds. Okay. It's going to offer private worlds where you can play.
Chris, shut up.
You can play in a private
Country
world.
roads.
You can play in a private world for you and up to 7 friends if you have that many. You can have a scrap. You can have a scrap box where you can have unlimited storage for your things, and it definitely won't delete them. You can have a survival tent, which is like a quick place down tent for survival. You get 1650 atoms per month. That's equivalent to, I think, $16.50. And you get a unique Ranger armor outfit and icons and emotes for $13 a month.
So they've added in a survival tent, a quick deployable base, which defeats the entire purpose of Fallout 76's modular bases.
So, yeah. As expected, this seems like an okay kind of thing. I'm going to completely disregard the fact that you're paying for a game that you paid $64 for or whatever, but disregarding that, it seems okay. Like, I'll get to the issues with it a bit later, but honestly, Fallout 76/Fallout First as a standalone, if it worked, it wouldn't be that bad. I think it could be kind of fun doing PvE with your friends in it, except its implementation is probably the worst of this decade.
Well, I mean, the problem is it's taking mechanics that were like made for a single player game, like VATS, right? That just does not work without pausing time, and you can't really do that in multiplayer.
Yeah, I totally think they could have implemented this well.
But then there's just stuff like it takes a large poop on just Fallout as an idea. It's like, oh yeah, man, war is hell. War never changes. It's like Yeah, the World War III lasted like an hour and killed half of the planet and turned the rest of it into a wasteland. And then Fallout 76 comes out and it's like, ah, yeah, dude, you could use nukes and just blow things up. Big boom. And just country roads, man, take me home.
So I want to throw something else out there.
Other Fallout as well, in 3 and 4 in Vegas.
What about them, Frick?
I said you could use nukes in every other Fallout before this as well. You could use them in Vegas.
Sure, but it's the way Bethesda presented it in the marketing and how just I'm not sure egregiously it contrasts like the themes of the series. It does not fit.
Yeah, it feels out of law, really. It feels very like
ludonarrative dissonance.
Anyway, to get onto the flaws of this, I don't know if you guys know, but the private worlds aren't private. People have gone into the private worlds and they've seen previously looted NPCs, dead NPC bodies, dead player bodies. The scrap box has a lovely tendency to delete absolutely everything you put in it.
Todd, you did it again.
Yeah, and it's just another messed up implementation, which is...
I do also want to point out how much the game is devalued. So I just pulled up the Amazon listing. Right now, Fallout 76, you can purchase it for $20.
Wow. I don't know why they don't just abandon it. Like, I know it's really harsh to the members that purchase and stuff, but seriously, it's a waste of resources. I really think it's completely messed. Just
as a company, they can't politically do so. Like, this is the only thing they have to market right now.
No, but what I mean is, instead of like sort of maintaining Fallout 76 and then, kind of just not expanding on it, if you know what I mean, but like kind of focusing on Fallout 5 or whatever the next single player big game is going to be. They're putting
for the PS5.
They're putting more of their eggs in the Fallout 76 basket.
See, I don't think that's accurate at all. I think they're marketing it that way, but I feel like that the actual support on the back end is relatively minimal compared to maybe what they're going to be putting into the next game to cover their asses on the next release. Because quite frankly, Fallout 4 was ill-received because it's the exact same engine that Skyrim has been using. And then Fallout 76 was the epitome of ill-maintained engine, where the game is really easily compromised just by using some simple client hacks. I feel like they're just doing this right now from the PR perspective, just to say, look, guys, we care. And then hopefully on the next big game, we'll finally see the new engine and then everything will be honky-dory and everybody will love Bethesda again.
They wouldn't do this if there weren't people actually actively playing this game. And I think that's the one thing no one's talking about. They wouldn't do this if there wasn't a financial incentive to do so. There's whales out there that'll spend tons of money on atoms and tons of money on microtransactions because they want to or because they're loyal. And it might be like a sunken cost point. They're like,
it's just exploiting gambling addictions.
I might as well keep buying it and playing into it. It's whales. You want to blame somebody, don't blame Bethesda right now. Blame the whales and the people still playing this god-awful thing.
Absolutely.
I will blame Bethesda for exploiting people with gambling addictions because
if they didn't get their fix here, they would have just gone to a Valve game or gone to CSGO or gone to Dota or gone to Overwatch.
It doesn't really mention any of the Fate gacha games.
One, it's an industry-wide problem. I don't disagree there. And two, let's just go to an actual casino. At least I can win real money.
Well, to be fair, you can make a lot of real money in CSGO by just selling weapon skins. You can make a lot.
Yeah, fair.
So, you... well, not you. Frick probably knows this. I bet you Simmons does. But, Chris, this might be interesting for you as well as our other member. Gacha games, like card games, mobile card games in Japan, actually is also really popular in China. People spend so much money on that stuff. It's absolutely ludicrous.
Thousands of dollars.
No, there's some guy that spent millions. I'm not kidding.
Surprised.
The Fate series, so like Fate Stay Night, Fate Go. It's Fate Go is the mobile one, but the Fate is like it's a whole visual novel and anime and movies and stuff like that. They've made more money in 2 years from their mobile game than they have from their entire anime and movies and everything else combined, like all the merchandise, everything. They made more in the mobile game in 2 years. And that thing has been going on for 20 years.
Check this out. This is going to drive you nuts. On that topic, just to give you an idea of how much money they can make off this, a story just dropped. I'm reading the article on Screen Rant right now. And this is not a trend. This is something that keeps happening. It just happened to come out right now.
Drop the link in here, bish.
It says one player spent $150,000 on Transformer microtransactions.
Oh yeah.
I saw that the other day.
Player. And this just happened a few weeks before that. Another player spent $62,000 in RuneScape microtransactions.
Yeah.
This is one person.
Oh, RuneScape, the game that will never die.
You know what I'm saying?
So there's that Fate.
Imagine what like thousands and tens of thousands must be spending in a single month.
Yeah, $1.8 billion in revenue for Fate Grant and Order.
Yeah, that was 2018.
That's insane. But I'm not surprised at all.
It's kind of sad, actually, because they're probably not going to care about anything except for the mobile game now.
Gotcha and waifus always work. Thank you.
Oh, they totally do. Do you know how much money people will pay for an image? Think about it. You're just getting an image. It's what anime card games really are.
What's that Pokemon gacha game that just recently came out? Pokemon Masters?
Pokemon Go?
No, Pokemon Masters.
Hang on. No,
Pokemon Go is not a gacha game, mind you.
Well, Simmons, they gotcha money.
Hang on.
No, they gotcha my Regigigas, and that's what's important.
How much do you spend for a virtual Pokemon?
$8 for the Regigigas event.
I was kind of hoping you'd say non-disclosed amount.
No, because it's very publicly out in the open of how much the event costs. So
that's unfortunate. I'm sorry you had to go through that.
It's a microtransaction, so you can't even shoplift it.
Right.
What?
Yeah, I mean, he's technically not wrong, but that is a very
I don't know what I meant by that.
Why was that the first thing that you jumped to?
I don't know. I'm just thinking about theft lately.
Oh
Is
boy!
there
All right.
anything we should know?
No, just
You want to have
about
anything
those
to do with
bobby
bobby pins?
$1 billion in microtransactions.
Sorry, how much? Frick?
Oh, I said he just spent $1.7 billion on microtransactions.
Oh yeah, that's me. I got all the waifus.
Yeah, but here's if you were a mobile publisher in this day and age, Nintendo especially, because they're fairly new to the mobile market, they have made more money off their Fire Emblem mobile games than like anything else, like game wise. So maybe it's not it being on mobile that makes the money. Maybe it's like that particular franchises. Because have you noticed the best selling or the most profitable microtransaction oriented games are all these like fantasy weeb type things? That's the trend I'm seeing.
Yeah. So, and the big thing with Pokemon Masters, right, is like Pokemon Masters was really milking on a lot of the old or the legacy waifus and such. And like, I'm reading this article right here on Game Industries where in the first month, Pokemon Masters grossed $33 million.
Woo! I think it's also the accessibility. Like, no one wants to. I mean, heck, I don't want to buy a Switch or Nintendo console. But if it's on my phone, like, hey, I got a phone.
And then Pokemon Go, like, looking at the comparison, like Pokemon Go in their first month, they grossed $302 million.
Yeah, Pokemon Go was really unique, though, and like how the zeitgeist really just the whole damn thing Time Ghost, how the whole thing like picked up on it. Like that was the first time Pokemon was like that big since Gen 1 hit US shores. At least in America, obviously Pokemon's still big in Japan.
On Simmons, how much did you say they made? 31 million?
Pokemon Masters 33.3 million, Pokemon Go 302.
Okay, so I'm looking at this right now. So last year the Pokemon company's net profit was 81 million last year. Now it's 124 million.
Wow.
Right. So keep in mind when you factor in something like Pokemon Go is owned by Niantic, which is what was that other game they did? Ingress?
Yeah.
and they also have the Harry Potter game as well. They pay licensing to Pokemon for the individual Pokemon and then the characters and stuff along those lines. So that's why the Pokemon company itself is not seeing the same profits that say somebody like Niantic has.
Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, you know that Niantic is not paying a small amount. Pokemon is the most valuable franchise on the planet. So
absolutely.
No.
Yes,
I don't think
is.
so. Grand Theft Auto Online made how much money? GTA Online is like the most profitable entertainment product ever.
I said franchise.
There's a difference because when you're factoring in the Pokemon franchise, you're talking about the TV show, you're talking about the plushes, you're talking about...
yeah, that's a thing I watch.
I would not say it's the most valuable. Not more than Star Wars.
The highest grossing media franchises on the planet. Number 1, 95 billion, Pokemon. Number 2, Hello Kitty, 80 billion. Winnie the Pooh is 75 billion.
I'm not surprised.
And can't talk about that in China.
Marvel's not even in Marvel's barely in the top 10 with 34 billion. I mean, it's ridiculous how much money Pokemon is worth.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, but also just due to just how diverse the franchise is. I mean, you factor in the handheld games, then you factor in the mobile games, and then you factor in say the Nintendo stores where the actual Pokemon events, real life events that occur.
I hate the real life events so much. They're so stupid. I'm angry at them. Simmons, it's very hard to argue that Pokemon is diverse when Spike Chunsoft is apparently not making Mystery Dungeon for the Switch.
I'm mad about that.
Yeah.
The majority of their profit doesn't come from video games. Actually, it's not even close. The majority of their profit, well, actually, there's a breakdown right here. They get $863 million from home entertainment, $1.5 billion from manga sales, $1.7 billion from a box office. Didn't even know they made a movie. Card game, $10 billion.
But the Pokemon movies? Are you out of your mind?
20 plus of them?
Yeah.
How do you know they made movies?
It's this year. 17 billion is their revenue for video games, and then 64 billion is licensed merchandise.
Absolutely.
That makes sense.
They could lose all that other stuff. They could ditch it, and they'd still be the top 5 most profitable company on the planet.
I can go into my other room, and I can already name 3 Pokemon plushes that I own. So,
That's really sad.
Think about like this. That 64, 65 billion that they're worth just from their merchandise makes them more valuable than all of Star Wars.
Okay.
Yeah, dude, I'm totally going to get Galarian Ponyta if there's a plush for that because it's cute and it fits with the unicorns.
Oh my gosh. No, I was going to say, in my defense, most of, 2 of them are gifts. So it's it's just one of those things. It's Pokemon as a franchise is so well known in every household. Hey, I'm going to get a gift for my nerdy niece or nephew. Pokemon. It's easy. It's so widely available.
I own a giant Shiba because it's a big Shiba.
Yeah, exactly.
Alex, put the Shiba in the thumbnail. I love him. He's my friend.
Also the shark.
Also the shark. I need to get the IKEA shark. I want the IKEA shark.
The founder of Pokemon is worth?
No, how much?
$1 million.
How many million?
Much money. Soldier Boy is worth $7 million.
Dude, I want a Soldier Boy console.
Soldier Boy. No.
Dude, the founder of Pokemon is worth $10 million?
Wait.
He's worth as much as Soldier Boy?
Wait. But would you buy the Soldier Boy console over the Taco Bell Xbox?
Probably.
I would not buy the Soldier Boy console because it's just crap you can get off AliExpress. There's nothing new there. It's just questionably legal Chinese stuff.
Hang on, I made a mistake. Soldier Boy is not worth $10 million. Soldier Boy is worth $30 million. The founder of Pokemon Soldier Boy is 3 times more popular, more valuable than the founder of Pokemon.
Yeah, but guess what? Soldier Boy hasn't made nearly as many people happy. Alex, we're not talking about this.
That's not true. That's just not true.
Why can't we talk about this?
Only due to NSFW content.
We can.
I was gonna say if you can make it politically correct, go for it.
Alex, read the second word in that title and then read the third word in that title.
No.
Just in your head. Just in your head.
No, I think we can talk about like just at least the one interesting bit about it.
God.
All right, go for it.
The second bit's interesting. No, I can word this fine. So basically, I think this happened around like 2 weeks ago or something. There was a giant illegal site that got busted, and they were using Bitcoin to do a lot of their transactions. It was based in South Korea. Yeah. So this involved sort of federal agents across the world from US, UK, Germany, Saudi Arabia, Canada, Ireland, Spain, Brazil, Australia, and probably more. That they are citing that they basically were able to, I think Frick knows the exact way that they were caught, but I think that they're citing that they are kind of able to break through the privacy and the anonymity of Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin isn't anonymous at all.
They're sort of misinterpreting that. They're purposely obfuscating the way that they did it because they don't want people to know. What really happened, from what I've read about it, is that the person in question or the team in question, at some point used their real information and ID to purchase something from a source like Coinbase or something like that. And then with that real information, the authorities were able to find out, now we can investigate exactly where it's going because he didn't do the right procedures you're supposed to do whenever you're trying to hide something. And they followed that. That's how it got busted. And once they were in, they cracked the whole thing open.
Yeah, because the entire Bitcoin register is publicly accessible. So you can track
everyone shares it.
Yeah.
You have to go from
this transaction.
To buy Bitcoin from this particular site, you have to show your real ID and real name.
And because of reasons like this. Here's the thing, though. There are privacy-focused coins. I think Monero is one of them, where the blockchain is available, but you can't really glean a whole lot of information from it. Like, you can't tell who sent what money to what. It's just like, as I understand it anyway, I don't look too closely into this.
Sure, and I get that.
But just hang on. So what Frick was basically saying is that this site essentially was very poorly set up. They wanted to try and create a sort of, you're definitely, here to do illegal things because you've trusted us with your real life identity and stuff like that. And they didn't keep it in a secure manner, and they were able to just.
I'm going to adjust that a little bit because I don't think that's necessarily accurate. The thing with a site like Coinbase is Coinbase.
I'm not talking about Coinbase.
Yeah,
I'm talking about this illegal site.
Well, that's the thing, right? So from what it seems like is like if they use something like Coinbase where they require the real life identification, obviously Bitcoin is the most valuable cryptocurrency that's out there. So they're going to try to go through a legitimate means to convert that Bitcoin into real money. So and due to the accessibility of these sites where they do require a real ID and some other form of personal identification in order to get access to your digital dosh, I'm not surprised that this kind of slip up occurred when you're trying to
get the most bang for the money properly.
Yeah, it's like there are many ways that they could have gone around it by going through other alt currencies in order to just break the chain, but they didn't do that. They took the easy way out to get the profit.
And as a result, Alex, that also means that the users of the site are vulnerable because, we know who the founder is. We can open an investigation against him. Hey, we've got all of his resources available. We've just got access to his server now as part of this investigation. Hey, look, we know who's visiting.
Yes,
not just who's visiting, selling. Over 3,000 people were arrested, which is an insane number. Over 3,000, and they're still doing it.
How many people were members of the site though?
I think it was in the hundreds of thousands.
Okay, so that's still 1%. That's an entire percent of people.
Yeah, but so
distributing and making it, that's plenty.
Yeah, no.
Well,
so with
I
things
know.
like this, you can compare it to with drugs as well. They go after the people distributing it, making it, selling it. They don't go after the users. I mean, they do if it's in their face, but that's probably why you'll see the huge disproportion of, 3,000 arrested and 1,000.
It's a lot easier to target the distributors than it is to target the user. And if the users are really easy to pinpoint, then great, they'll pursue it.
It's also pretty amazing how this was coordinated across the world, because seriously, like coordinating this kind of stuff across multiple governments must have been absolutely awful. Just a logistical nightmare.
I mean, this just seems like a kind of UN style investigation. So
yeah, I suppose those users, I mean, obviously they're doing something illegal and immoral, but they must be really annoyed. You know?
I feel like all of the countries were doing this independently, and they were just like, "Hey, so one of your nationals is on this website, and he's distributing some illegal stuff. Here's his information. Thanks." Because it's like, if there's one thing that is universally considered reprehensible, except possibly among anime fans, it's this. So,
all right, Chris.
I'll take shots at him.
Okay, so I think we've kind of run to the end of our rung here.
What about the chickens?
Shut up, Chris.
Look, Chris, I know you really wanted to talk about the chickens last time, and we've run out of time now. You can't talk about the chickens, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Look, maybe next time. Maybe next time we can try and introduce this. Yeah, we can try and introduce a segment like.
No, it's okay. It's
Chris's Chicken Corner or Cynical's Chicken Corner.
Backyard chickens.
Chris's chicken.
Chris. You know, look, Chris. You're not allowed to give away too many details. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So keep it to yourself. Work on it in your own time. You know. Slosh it around your noggin and come out with a good idea of Chris's.
Yeah, keep the noggin jogging.
And now that we're wrapping up, I'm going to enjoy myself a nice chicken dinner tonight.
Of course you will. Anyway, thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for joining Chris, Simmons, Frick, and there's someone else I can't remember.
Yeah, he's not real.
Yeah. So, thank you everyone for listening. And
goodbye.
Yes, goodbye.
Yeah, I'll miss you. I want friends.
Chicken recipe. Oh, I got me hungry for chickens.